Hi everybody, good morning. Liba here, a little bit late. My apologies to anyone who was waiting. I'm not confident that anybody was, but in any case, if there is, here I am, and thank you for joining me. As I mentioned yesterday, I was in the chemist, and my connection is weak, it's telling me, so I hope it's coming out clearly. I was in the chemist yesterday, and there was a kid behind me having a tantrum, and I had some thoughts, and I really want to share with you some things that we can do when our kids have these untimely tantrums. You know, when you're like in the supermarket, you're tired, you don't want to be there, and suddenly your kid chucks us back, as they say, and they're on the floor, and you don't know what to do. And all you want is it to stop. But you're caught off guard, and you don't know what to do. So like this mom I really felt for her in Canada. It's a Shoppers Drug Mart. Here in Israel, it's a super farm. It's a local pharmacy, and she just seemed so just done, like uninterested. And her kid was just standing behind her and like whining, and I couldn't understand what she wanted. They were speaking French, and I really wasn't paying attention. I could just hear this kid, looking up at her mom, complaining, and her mom turning her back to her. Just, no, I'm not engaging with this. Now, without judgment, I really felt for this mom. And I thought, oh, if only I could go up to this mom and just put my hand on her shoulder. Say, can I help you? Can I tell you a couple of things that would really help here? And the idea here is not to get your child to stop. The idea here is to recognize that your kid needs something, whether or not you can give it to them, and you want to figure out what it is. And if you can't give it to them, help them tolerate the discomfort of not getting what they want, not having that immediate gratification. So the three things that I would recommend that you do or anybody does in these situations is, first of all, stop. Just stop what you're doing. You have to be somewhere. You have a list in your head you're trying to remember. You're thinking about a million things in the pharmacy or in the supermarket. Just stop. Put it on hold for a second and turn your attention to your kid. And when you turn your attention to your kid, inevitably what's going to happen is you're going to notice your own personal reactions, your irritation, your anger, your frustration, your impatience. And when you give space for those reactions, what happens is that you create space for other experiences, other observations, like, oh, look at the poor kid, look at her. She's having a really hard time here. And so when you stop, you give yourself a chance to check in with yourself. And by doing that, you give yourself a chance to connect with your kid and see what's going on for your kid. And so the next thing that you would do is get down on your knees, get down to your kid's level. So you've stopped what you're doing. Now get down to their level. Instead of looking down at them and saying blah, 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 whatever you're going to say to them, even in a nice way, looking down to them, it's not as meaningful as going down to their level, looking them in the eyes, and connecting with them. Just they know that they have your attention. Now, that's not going to end your kid's tantrum. Your kid is not going to just stop there. Certainly not initially, because this may be new for them, and they may not. They don't understand yet that this is something that's going to be consistent, and so they may be weary. In any case, you've stopped what you're doing, you're down at their level, and you look at them, and you just watch them, and you observe them. Sort of like you've come from another planet, and you're looking at this new creature. Or a scientist might look at a chemical reaction, just watching what it's doing. Watch your kid, see what they do. Hi, Rebecca, thank you. Watch your kids, see what they're up to, see what they're doing. Try to connect with what they need. What do they need right now? Is it physical? Are they hungry? They just need to be fed. I have a daughter who, when she's hungry, she is a different person. She's like a Jekyll and Hyde. But if I feed her, she transforms. It's magical. She just comes back to herself. So I know that there's no rationalizing, there's no talking about anything. There's eat. And obviously she doesn't want to eat. She has no appetite. But I just take a bite, one bite, and it's done. And the tantrums are gone. So if it's not hunger, it could be exhaustion. Is your kid tired? Have you been schlepping them around all day? Are they just done? If so, you have to acknowledge that. That's important, that you at least acknowledge it. You're tired. I think you might be tired. I personally tell my kid they're tired, and they say, no, I'm not. So you may not need to say it, but you just need to recognize that your kid is tired so that you can relate to your kid with compassion, understanding. You see what's going on for them. Whether or not you can give them what they want in that moment, at least you are recognizing with empathy that they're having an experience here, that something's going on for them. As opposed to ignoring them, you're showing value for their experience. And they feel felt. And feeling felt is one of the most important things that you can do for your kid to develop their sense of self. And, you know, we're aware of this in our relationships, let's say with our partner. That when you talk to your partner and he doesn't get you, and there's this video of a woman with a nail in her head. I don't know if you've seen this. You know, give me a thumbs up if you've seen this. She's trying to explain to her husband how she's feeling, and he's trying to tell her, well, there's a nail in your head. And she says, stop talking about the nail. You know, it's not because the man wants to solve the problem. Just take the nail out of your head. And she wants to talk about how she feels. I have this headache, and it won't go away. And that sort of, it's a joke because, you know, we want to be heard, we want to be felt, we want to be acknowledged, we want to feel like we want to experience our, we want to know that this is okay, that I'm okay. And so when your kid is having this total meltdown, you're going to stop what you're doing, you're going to notice this is a meltdown, instead of ignoring it, or like this woman in the chemist was saying, shh, 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 her thoughts were on the other people witnessing this and watching her and her own self-consciousness. I don't blame her. That goes through my head too. But the attention should really be on what's going on in this moment for your kid is having a meltdown. Something your kid is having a hard time and they need you to help them with it. And so you stop what you're doing, you turn your attention to your kid, you get down onto their level, you look them in the eye and you watch them and you see what happens. And you all the while observe your own reactions, observe your own experience, and then in that, with honesty and authenticity, and believe me, a larger measure of compassion and empathy, you'll communicate with your kid, either with words or with physical touch. If that's appropriate for your kid, you know your kid best. If they need a hug, if they need closeness, proximity, if they need everything to just slow down a little bit, if they need encouragement, if they need you to just stop what you're doing and leave the store, because there's just, you know, in a power of wills, they're going to win here. So these are 3 things that you can do the next time your kid has a tantrum. Give it a try. Initially, it may not work magic, but as your kid learns that this is, thanks, Ita, as your kid learns that this is the support that they're going to get from you, it will have a more immediate calming effect on them. They'll be able to, oh, I know this, and they'll have an experiential sense of calming, that your empathy will connect with their empathy part in their brain, and that empathy part in your brain calms everything. So when you're really riled up and you're having a hard day and you call up a friend and your friend says, oh man, that's so hard, it immediately calms you down because they've connected with you in a part of your brain that calms everything. So those are 3 things you can do. Let me know what you think about that. You know, is that realistic? Is this something you can see yourself doing? Do you imagine that you might have trouble with any of this? Do you have a kid who you think, no, that's not going to work for my kid? Some people have these kids who get very angry, and so they often will say, no, that doesn't work for my kid. It just makes my kid angrier. Let me know what, you know, your experiences with your kids, any stories you have about those untimely tantrums, so we can all commiserate together. And I hope this was helpful to you. Please comment below. Let me know that you're listening, you're liking, and I'd like to do more of these. What else do you want to hear about? What other things do you need help with? Let me know, because I think these Facebook Lives are the best way for me to share my ideas and to help you guys out and to give you support that you need and direction and guidance. So thanks for tuning in, and don't forget to comment below and let me know what you think. All the best, guys. Have a great day. Bye for now.